use for productivity. We're going to be talking about getting results. And we've got Stephen Lynch, who knows a lot about that subject, coming up. And Bruce, I have to tell you, is that Stephen? We do have our guests online. They see 1170 AM. Stephen Lynch, welcome to Tech AM Power Drive.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here.
It's great to hear from you. Your ears have probably been burning because for the last few minutes we've been talking about this list of qualifications. Let's see, you've been a police officer, a champion bodybuilder, a pharmaceutical sales and marketing manager, a nightclub DJ, a software entrepreneur, and now you're chief operating officer of Results.com, and you're an author. So it's appropriate that you're a part of a company that gets results.
Oh, my ears must have been burning. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about Results.com. We're a technology show. We'd love to hear about it. I see that it says radical transparency, KPI dashboards, and live data. How does this technology work to get people better results in their business?
Well, what it does is, I guess, it combines, what small business leaders they're currently trying to solve a lot of problems, and they're using a number of different solutions to solve those problems. They're currently looking at, how do I visualize the key numbers in my business? So perhaps they're looking at business intelligence software. They're trying to manage key projects in their business, so they're probably looking at project management software. They've got their people doing work, so they're probably looking at task management software. They want to create a plan, so perhaps they're even looking at strategic planning software. And they want to somehow pull all that together and know exactly what's going on in their business and make sure that they're engaging their people, to take the right actions each and every day that are going to move the business forward. And what we've done is combine all of those elements into one software tool. You can track your numbers, track your projects, track your tasks, run your meetings, and engage all of your people in your company in accelerating your success.
Wow. This sounds very, very interesting. So it integrates all that to get better results? Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct, yeah. So you're basically looking at putting live data in front of people so they can see the score every day, and also make them see very clearly what it is that the company's trying to work on and how they, as an individual, what they need to do to play their part.
Wow. And I would assume this would work for, sales organizations. It would work for production people, for project managers. Anything you've got going on in your company, you're able to actually see where they're at and lead them towards meeting their goals. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's designed for small, medium-sized businesses, sort of like, and for us, we sort of really focus on 10 employees through to around 100 employees. That's our sweet spot, where a company's growing and it's getting to the point where it's starting to get complicated for the founders to actually keep a handle on it all and who's doing what and how are they tracking. And it brings this concept of what we call radical transparency into a workplace.
Yeah, elaborate on radical transparency. What exactly is that?
Well, it's not a new concept, but it's a new term, and it was a term that was coined by the Harvard Business School a couple of years ago. And according to Harvard's research, they found that radical transparency, where everyone in a company can see which parts of the business are working well and which parts are not working well, and they can also see which people are working well and which people are not working so well. They found that that's a major driver of better business performance. And so that's what we do for companies is we bring that visibility. So everyone at every level in the company knows what the company's working on. They can see what's working well, what's not working well. They can also see who's doing well as an individual and who's struggling and who needs more help and support.
Phenomenal. Bruce, this is real. This could really work like in a sales organization that you're a part of, couldn't it? To track things better and see where your company's at and really get better results.
Yeah, it seems like it would be a real time saver with the way I do it now. I see some huge advantages to this.
So Stephen, just elaborate a little bit in terms of KPIs. Where are you getting all the data from, and how hard is it to integrate this, especially if your target market is small and medium-sized businesses? They don't have a lot of money in the budget to do sophisticated integration. I would think you've got to get all this data in to make it a powerful KPI dashboard. How simple is that process, or complex is that? What's the time to get this up and running in a typical environment?
Yeah, good questions. I guess when I look at small, medium-sized businesses now, they've got a lot of information in a lot of different places. I mean, they've got their accounting software where every month they're creating financial statements, profit and loss, balance sheet, etc. And that's good, but that's not key performance indicators. Key performance indicators to us are what are the key numbers that drive those outcomes that are going to be reflected in your financial statements at the end of the month.
Okay.
And you've probably got your sales team using a CRM and tracking, various things that they're performing there. Yes, we do some integrations with some common software platforms, CRMs, accounting softwares, etc. But what's more important is identifying, at a company level, what are the small handful of numbers that drive that business model. There might only be 3, 4, or 5. Let's figure out what those are, and let's track and drive those. And then likewise for each of the key functional areas of the business, marketing, sales, operations, customer service, whatever. What are the 2, 3, 4, or 5 key numbers that drive that area of the business? And even looking down to individual level, what are the 1 or 2 numbers that drive performance in this role? Even if you are tracking those things manually, it's identifying those small handful of key drivers and making those things visible to people. So ideally, at least every week, they can see how well not only the various areas of the business are performing, but how well they are as an individual are performing, and know whether or not they had a good week.
Awesome stuff. We're going to take a quick commercial break, Stephen. I want you to hang on, and when we get back, we're going to talk about how everybody out there can get a free business strategy on your website. We're going to come back to what that is and how they go about getting that. But right now, we're going to keep the lights on by paying some bills, and we're going to go to a commercial break. We'll be back with Stephen Lynch right after this. Tech AM Power Drive, turbocharging your mornings with technotainment. And we have the privilege of having a guest, Stephen Lynch from Results.com. If you're just dialing in, you can join the conversation at 408-912-5565. And, Stephen, we were just talking offline about this tool that right on your website you can get a free business strategy. It says free business strategy tools designed for entrepreneurs, and they can sign up. Can you tell us a little bit about the tools that people can have access to on your website and how that'll help their business?
Sure. Well, before we were a software firm, we were actually a strategy consulting firm for 2 decades prior to that. So where we were helping small, medium-sized businesses to create their strategy and then supporting them to execute their strategy. And the software was born out of our strategy consulting work. But what we've done is we've created an online version of our one-page strategic plan. And in that plan, it contains a series of video workshops, which is essentially our consulting team teaching small, medium-sized business owners and their teams how to create and execute their strategy. And what we're doing for listeners is that normally we make a couple of those workshops available for people, and you gain access to the full series of workshops when you buy the software. But if you go to the Results.com website and you request our one-page strategic plan or our online strategic plan and put Tech AM in the promo code box, we will make all those video workshops available to you.
Okay, phenomenal material and resources here. Now, you authored the book, Business Execution for Results, a practical guide for leaders of small to medium-sized firms. Did the book come first and then the company? Are you one of the founders of the company? How was this software created? You're saying out of consultancy. Were you one of those consultants?
Yes, I was, and I've been with the company 10 years now, and the book was born out of our what I would call our traditional consulting work, where it takes small and medium-sized business leaders through the process of being able to create a strategy and being able to engage their team in the implementation of that strategy. And then once you've got that strategy, I guess then looking at how can you bring that strategy to life in your organization, and that's what we use the software for.
Now, it looks like, your picture on the website is on an iPad, and it looks like it's browser-based, so all your reporting and everything comes out of that browser as you're helping companies achieve the results. How does the software actually, we're still trying to dig into how you get information out of the Excel spreadsheets, out of your CRM and your financials to really give good information to make better decisions to get better results. How does the software actually work?
Yeah, gotcha. And interesting you bring up spreadsheets, and that's still the most common thing I see being used by small, medium-sized businesses. They're using spreadsheets to try to track their key numbers. They're using spreadsheets to try to track their key projects and keep a handle on where everything's at. And we did that ourselves for many years. But, what we found is that not everyone in a company uses spreadsheets, and even if they do, they're not looking at them every day. So what can we do to bring those high-level numbers and that high-level information to people at all levels in the organization so that we can engage everyone in what it is that the company's trying to do? And yes, we can draw data directly out of, accounting software, or draw data out of, your Salesforce. But what's more important is, even if you had to manually input 3 numbers per week, what would those 3 numbers be at an individual level? That's just looking at KPIs. Projects, let's make sure that we get very clear on what are the key initiatives the company's working on, this quarter, next quarter, and then breaking those down into their key tasks and capturing those tasks in the software to make sure that our projects are on track to get completed by the due date.
So is this like in the project side of things, is this like a Microsoft project kind of solution online?
It's not designed to be as complex as something like a Microsoft project would be. It's really looking at the status of a project and what are the key steps or key tasks that need to be done in order to implement that project effectively, and make sure that each individual knows what they need to do by when to ensure the project is completed on time.
And I notice you have an iPhone and an Android app to be able to actually view that on your phone or your iPad, or on your MacBook Pro or your PC. Is that correct? All those environments can view this information.
Yeah, we've built the software in HTML5 so that it is available from any browser and on any device. And I guess that's the key thing, is that when we look at the typical small, medium-sized business leader or business owner, they just want to know what's going on in my business right now, and to be able to pull that information up on their mobile device and go, these are how we're tracking in terms of our key numbers. This is how we're tracking in terms of our key projects. And I can also drill into each individual. What's Fred working on right now? What's Sally working on right now? And to be able to see that in real time and know where, as a business leader, you need to be focusing your attention. Perhaps you need to be praising this person for the good work they're doing, or perhaps you need to be reaching out to help and support the other person because they're struggling right now.
Now, off to the right on your website, it seems like there's a feed from social media. Do you have the ability to make comments on the progress of these tasks and those kinds of things?
Yes, and yes, essentially the tool also contains what we call the virtual water cooler. It's like Facebook for your business, if you will, where people can communicate and collaborate, acknowledge people for good work, have real-time discussions, post links to articles of interest. It's a way of engaging people in the discussions that are going on in the business every day. And we work with a lot of virtual firms and where people have got employees geographically dispersed, and we're one ourselves. And it's a great way of making people feel a part of an organization when they can't physically be there to see each other every day.
And do you have a consulting side of this? If a company wanted to reach out to you and use this platform, and they also need to adjust some things in their culture, do you have a services side to this in your traditional consulting model, where you can go in, have a workshop or help them along the way to, really realize the value of your platform?
Yes, absolutely, and a lot of companies come to us in that state where they go, Stephen, I know we need to track key performance indicators, but we don't even know what they are or what we should be tracking. Can you help? And yes, we've got a team of people who take companies through the process of helping them identify what are the key drivers of your business model, what are the key numbers that will track and drive the performance of the key functional areas of your business. Let's figure those things out, and then let's implement them in the software to help drive your success.
Phenomenal. If you're just tuning in, Stephen Lynch, the COO of Results.com, a fantastic platform to get your small to medium-sized business to the next level in results. Let me ask you a question, and then we're going to have to kind of wrap the interview up. In your experience of writing this book, of consulting for all these years, and the broad experience you've had in life, why do you feel what are the key things that small businesses need to keep in mind to stay on track with their goals and be successful?
I guess the most common thing I hear when I speak to business leaders, and I get to speak to, we've got thousands of users on our software now. I get to see what people are doing, and I get to speak to a lot of business leaders each and every day. And before they start using the software, the most common words I hear is that I just need to get all of my people aligned and on the same page, and I want to make sure that I'm doing a more effective job at holding people accountable. And I hear that word accountable a lot, where business leaders really struggle to get their people aligned and then to actually hold them accountable for what it is that they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. And that's tough for many business leaders, but when you can actually make performance visible, it will greatly help you in that endeavor. When people can see how they're tracking each and every day, and they know their colleagues can see how well they're doing, even without you having to say anything as a business leader, your people are already doing more of the right things. Now, yes, you still need to fulfill your obligations as a leader or a manager. You still need to close the loop and follow up and have those discussions about performance. But when performance is being made visible, it makes your job as a leader that much easier.
And if you want results, go out to Results.com. We have Stephen Lynch, and I have time for one more question, Bruce.
Well, no, I was just going to mention, Stephen, when I had a sales staff working for me, everyone was always confused as to what they thought I said or did. This kind of takes the guesswork out of it and puts everybody, as you said, on that same page. I find it very, very nifty with that.
And you're right. It's one thing to ask people to do something, but when you're actually capturing it there visually and people can see it every day, the tool does a lot of a nagging for you. How's that?
Yeah.
You don't have to keep following up saying, where are we at with that? Is that done yet? The tool will do that for you, and that's one of the things I really like about it.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you for being a guest, Stephen. We appreciate that. That's Stephen Lynch from Results.com. And go out there, and wow, that's a great domain. It's going to stick in all of our mind. You want results for your company? Go to Results.com. That's awesome, Stephen. Thank you for being our guest this morning.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Liz. It's been a privilege.
Have an outstanding day. Thanks.
Cheers.
All right.
Bye-bye.
They see 1170 AM. Dial in at 408-912-5565. Stephen Lynch. And he's telling us how to get results. He has a platform, Results.com. If you have a small or medium-sized business, you definitely need to go out there and see how you can get better results. We're going to just take a quick commercial break. When we get back, our tech fact. Yeah, put your thinking caps, guys, on.
You should have had Stephen on.
I'll tell you, yeah, I could have done that, but this one's special for you and Liz. Right after this, 408.